I pulled this really. If I don't have it, I'm gonna scream. But I wrote down the most magnificent quote earlier this week. Yes, it's from the Washington Post, The Seven, which is their daily show. Right? They're talking about how the Supreme Court is going to have to rule on this, right? And their quote was, "The case has echoes of the court's involvement in the 2000 election, when its decision ensured victory for George Bush and damaged its reputation as an independent institution." That's what their claim was, is that
because if you don't get the outcome that you think is right,
then they're not independent.
Wrong.
Yes, then they're not independent. They can't be trusted.
It's the way Crystal Ball lives her fucking life.
It's an insane. We've talked about the illegitimacy of the Supreme Court 1,000 times, right? But of this to be one of the cases that we're picking out that shows their lack of independence is insanity. Who the fuck else should decide then? Answer this, constitutional scholars. Who else decides? Who else fucking decides if all the other lower courts have decided that and he's still appealing? Who else decides then? It's not Congress. It isn't fucking Joe Biden. Who else does it? But still, the Washington Post sits around and they're saying, oh, they're fucking showing their lack of independence because they're going to rule on this case. What the fuck else happens then? What is the other pathway for this to be solved? There isn't one. It's already in the judicial system. It's the highest court in the land. There literally isn't another place for it to go.
Yeah, they think that it's so beyond the pale because they believe in their hearts that he is a guilty insurrectionist,
right?
And so
they should just.
We all saw
the
January 6th.
Yes.
They shouldn't even be. They shouldn't allow the appeal. We all know what happened. We're right about this. Everyone else who thinks that we're wrong is a fucking rube who has no idea what they're talking about and probably belongs in jail too.
Like, the Supreme Court is literally designed to handle cases that have never been ruled before and that deal with directly constitutional things. This fits that exact definition. This thing where a president has never done this thing before, he's never been charged with this thing before, and no other answer can be found in the Constitution. This is what it's for. So for them to deny the appeal that, in my opinion, would be a greater sign of their lack of independence because they're refusing to do their job, the only person who can do it, than to actually rule on it one way or another. Even if they do rule, fuck him. Take him off. He is a piece of shit. He did do all that stuff, and he can't be on here. Even if that is what they decide, that doesn't make them not independent because that is their job. There is no other way to define this thing. It is active spin and distortion of the fourth estate that we're talking about. Like they're just disseminating that ideology or that not ideology, that line of thinking straight from the top, and I'm not trying to say it's orchestrated at the top because I want to ask about that too, because I told Donald Trump said a lot of wild shit earlier this week when I was watching him do his press conference. I just watched for 2 minutes and I was like, that was chaos. I can't believe that everything that he just said. But I mean, that idea of Donald Trump is guilty, he is an insurrectionist, is straight from the top down. Joe Biden says this same exact thing. So I don't know how else it's supposed to be dealt with and why else they would be saying these things if they're not trying to sway the public's opinion in a certain direction, you know?
I just don't like how this extrapolates. And I feel like there has to be somebody, an adult in the room, be like, listen, like, this does not extrapolate well. Because again, what is to stop? For example, Missouri is suing the Biden administration they're suing the cooperation between the social medias and how they were working with the social medias to censor people, right? Yeah. What if they're found guilty in Missouri, right? What if the Missouri says like, okay, well that is undermining an election, right? And they legalize their way to be like, well, you can't be on here because the last time you were in an election, you literally worked with these social companies to undermine an election. Like literally, you destroyed or corroded the integrity of an election. Why should you be able to participate, right? And then we're going to remove you off the ballot. It just keeps going. Then you're going to have candidates that go against each other, and one's on 27 states and one's on 34 states. Like that's not a union.
No,
like, that's not a.
It's
that's not a union. And that's why they did on it, because if left to the discretion of the states, we are just going to devolve. It doesn't work over the long run. And like what we have literally like people are just now in the space where they're not paying attention because they have their own lives to deal with.
Right.
Or rich saying like, oh, like this is fine. It's not what you think, because what people don't understand, in a decentralized world, the person with the most money is going to win. Because the only thing that we seem to always agree on is that when you exchange your dollar or swipe your card, it counts for that much money. If the only thing we agree on is the money, then rich people will dominate. And that's where it's just like that's again, right? Weakness and strength. It always comes back to finances. That's why it's so important. Like, because like we have to understand the fabric or what the direction of the soul. There has to be something outside of money that joins us together. It used to be the churches. I don't care if you don't go to church. But like, there has to be something outside the bank that joins us together, or we are just going to lose. Because again, like, money runs the world, right? And so like, if there's nothing to offset it, right, no structure, then we're all going to lose. And everyone's just like, well, money's evil. Like, it's the rich people there. It's like, do you not realize that the government wants to work with the rich people? Like, do they lobby with you? Like, do you get to lobby? Or do rich people, like, do you have
they
a
taking you out to dinner?
Thank you. Right. Like, so like, do you think that they're actually anti like money? If they say, like, even if they say they are, like, just because they have like a good, like this bill or that bill, like what have they done? They've done nothing. Even if the bill doesn't come due, they go out with the same people. They give the contracts out to the same people. They invest in the same market. Like, it's not for you, it's for them. And like, again, I'm not saying everyone needs to be like a super trumper. What I'm saying is we have to acknowledge that the more they corrode at the way we think or our ability to agree, we're just going to get fudged and just ran around the circle, and we're just ultimately going to get beat.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.